Hey Daniel, just going over some of the sound effects that we're going to need in the future and in the immediate week. So the sound effects are going to kind of fall under three categories, maybe four, but there's UI, of course, and then there are environmental sounds, and there's probably like two divisions of that, like the shopping experience, which is kind of docile, and then the fighting experience. So there's environmental sounds in both of those, and then also character sounds. Um, I think character sounds for shopping are basically just going to be like mall hubbub with some footsteps here and there. And then character sounds for the fighting, of course, punches, fights, laser bolts, kicks. This is the lady right here that you're seeing that's going to have this laser bolt. I want to go to the graphic novels because they have a better rendition of how sounds are. There's going to be, so we're going to want a sound for a cashier, for a cash register. We want it to sound familiar, like cha-ching, but we also want it to sound futuristic, like I don't know how you're going to do that, but we want it to sound futuristic, like zhizhing. I don't know. You invent something. Give us a few ideas so that we get the world of retrofuturism nailed down. We are, I mean, there's like, I would say 40 to 50% chance that we're going to be taking this IP into other media. And if we do, I want to bring everybody along that I can. I don't know if I'll have a say in that. I don't even know if I'll be a part of it. But say we did animations and now we go back to the video game and we say, who did that sound effect for the cash register? That's awesome, and we want to use that in going forward in an animation. So anyway, we want to do our very best here. Clothes racks, like hangers or whatever, just kind of shuffling through. Um, let's see. Oh, so, okay. In the future, we're going to have bosses, but don't do that this week. So we just want some casual environmental sounds for shopping, like the cha-ching and moving clothes racks around. Probably nothing for this so far. But I do want to show you this plant. So this is for the fighting. Here's a plant that's just normal, and then at some point it's going to get damaged like this. So we do kind of need a damaged sound that, even though this might happen like somewhere off screen or in a corner of a screen and nobody's paying attention, we still want a sound for that. And I'm figuring out how we're going to like focus on the sounds. It might just be random chaos, I'm not sure, but anyway, we want to like, something like this. Those are two bullet holes. We don't really care too much about bullet holes because those can be part of the gunfire. But we do want, some sort of crumbling sound there. A vending machine would be very handy. A vending machine sound, like your traditional thing falling out. Um, Coke falling to the bottom. But if it makes a sound up there, like, like zzz, or plays a jingle or something like that, like foam, da 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 da. I don't know. If it does something weird, I guess jingle would fall under composition. But if it's a brandable sound, for this foam drink, and I encourage you to read the comic books so that you understand what foam is. It's like if you drink, it's an energy drink, but if you drink too much, you turn into a rat, I think, or you just go crazy and you pickpocket people, and it's just hilarious. So I will tell you the graphic novels are, I thought it was hard PG, but the later ones, it gets into PG-13. So it's like PG-13. Let's see. Yeah, some more breakage. So like this might be, I think that looks kind of the same, crumbling. Okay, so that's it for that. And let's see. Let's go to the graphic novel. So we're going to need a sound for the microwave. And that's like a microwave bing. And we also going to need some beep, beep, beep when they, type it in or something like that. I don't think anybody's going to type it in the game, excuse me. But the MIT, if we can get to it, is going to give advice on, whatever. I don't know what it is. So we need something that goes bing. It's like MIT is coming up and it's going to give you some advice. And we want it to sound like a microwave, but again, we want it to sound like a microwave from the future so that everybody goes, is that a microwave? But it's weird. Is it from the future? That's the reaction we want. So here we've got, you'll see throughout the comic books, there are sounds that the author Tom Lintern has put in, and we can use those as guides as to how things are going to work. We're not doing any game shows, but we are doing these segways, these balanced scooters. And so if you have a verm, that's going to be great. When the gangs show up, when the violence slider cranks up, we do want them to, we want a verbal indication of that. Ha 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 ha, right? So this is some kind of maniacal Joker laugh. These are women, actually. So these are women that look like men. There's another roar, and then when he gets hit, it's fwumph, or fwump, and then there's a right? So you can go through these comic books to get some ideas about, here's a bablam and another bablam, right? So you can get an idea, and then now here's the boss. We're not doing bosses yet, but just for your reference for later. And then here comes the Robo Granny that you saw the image of earlier, and then here comes the police. Woo 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 woo. Okay. So we're going to kind of emulate these, and we want them to sound retro future. So we want them to sound very familiar, retro, and we want them to sound futuristic. So let's see what else we've got. This is just some, there's the mitt again, the microwave, bing, and more stuff here. Okay, so this lady, she can shoot a laser bolt out of her eye. You saw it before. It was orange, and here it's kind of magenta. So we're going to probably have different different colors, and those will be upgrades. You can get a purple laser. But you'll see that she has a charge up, vroom, and then zat. And it sounds a lot to me like, it really sounds like War of the Worlds, where remember the tripods would go vroom, and then they would just go and they just powderize people. So it's something like that. But this one is zat. So interpret that as you will, but use the comic book for the graphic novel for creative reference. And more gunfight, blam blam, haha. And let's see. We're not going to do anything that's like kind of a set piece here. We're not going to do anything for. Like, we're not actually going to have a beauty parlor from launch. So we're just kind of looking for more character developments. We will someday have a band that comes down and plays while everybody is fighting, but not this week. So let me see if I can get to the violence. So whoosh, that's running. We don't need that. More ha ha ha. And okay, so here's a hero shot. This is like a backbreaker, crack. So we're going to need some of those because these are our action cards in the game. They're going to spin up, and you'll see that if you play the game. There might be a couple of errors in there, but basically every once in a while an action card spins up. It's like those newspapers that spin, and then it shows you what it is. And when that happens, we're going to have kind of like a Batman sound effect, and then when it shows, we're going to have a sound effect for that thing, like crack, backbreaker. We're also, I want to have some WWE voice or monster truck voice in there, where we're like, actually saying backbreaker, and it's got a echo on there. We're not doing vehicles yet. We might do that later. And jetpacks are vehicles, so we might do those later. We're not going to have explosions, but we probably are going to have fire. So if you've got a few, there we got some flames. If you're going to have a few, if you can have a few fire sound effects, that'll be great. And here again is her deal. So she's charging up off screen, so we don't hear the yerm, but we do hear the bzzat, right? And then it cuts people in half, and it's awesome. And then zzzt, I guess she got kicked into an electrical force field or something. Thud, like that's what happens when you hit somebody in the guts. Wakum. Oh, that's an explosion. We probably won't have that. Here's another like introduction to the cavalry. So it says yeehaw, and I think when we start clicking on the cops to get them into the game, we want the first click to do something like this, like yeehaw, right? So we want a few of those if you can find them. If you want me to do the voiceover, I can do that. I'm not sure if we're going to have rockets in there, but we could have these, right? These are like guided rockets. I'm not sure if we'll do that because that means explosions and all sorts of other things. Blam, blam, creesh, crash. Okay, so you get the idea, and we've already talked about the UI. So have at it. Thanks.